All right, welcome back to the Built to Grow podcast. I'm your host, Tim Lyons, in studio, Scottsdale, joined by Randy. What's up, Randy?
How we doing, Tim?
Good. My voice is like raspy.
Well, I mean, we had a really successful weekend, yelling at everyone. No,
It was great. It was great. By the way, guys, Grow Summit just wrapped up. We're back in the studio today. You're probably going to be hearing this a couple weeks after the Grow Summit, but the good news is, if you missed the Grow Summit, we've got the recordings all dialed in. We had some of the best AV. Props to Nick. He brought his buddy in, and we basically, it's like a full-fledged presentation. He cuts back and forth between the slides and the different cuts of the speakers. The audio is crisp. Well done.
Yeah, very much so.
Well done.
Obviously, yeah, if you didn't make the event, or even if you want to recap, the event after the fact, if you were in the seat, it will be as close to being there without being there, when it comes to the content being delivered off stage.
Yeah. Best delivery on the content since we started. So well done. And one of the topics that I kind of brought to the table in my first presentation was something about kind of how you have an internal thermostat. Now, I did learn this in a way from Ed Milet. He talked about thermostats. I put a twist on it and really related it to gyms, in what you can expect to earn. But the lesson of the story is that everybody has an internal thermostat, and it's set to what you believe you deserve.
Absolutely.
Okay. And the best way to kind of understand the analogy is if you've got your air conditioner thermostat on in your house, and somebody leaves the doors open in the middle of summer, and the hot air starts rushing in. And for a short period of time, that the air temperature starts to rise up in that room, and then your thermostat will kick on, and then the air conditioning will start to cool the room back down to what it's set at.
Yep.
And that's how people live their lives, meaning you see people that are in shape for a short period of time, and then they go back to being out of shape. And that's only because that's where their thermostat is set to where they believe. So the room got hot for a while, and then they went back to their old habits and kind of went back to normal. And I saw this happen, I won't put names out here, but there was a gym owner that was doing really well. By all accounts, his gym was very successful. He wasn't having to work too hard, and he got comfortable.
Yeah.
He got comfortable, and he started to take his foot off the gas, and slowly and surely he started to go right back down, losing clients. He wasn't paying attention anymore, and it basically leveled back out to where he was breaking even again, and even losing some months. And it's because his thermostat was, even though for a short amount of time he was, it was going up, right? His revenue was going up. He didn't believe that he deserved it, or his old habits put him in a way that were like, this is it. This is all he's ever going to get. And so my big kind of takeaway and action plan for everybody at the Grow Summit was like, look, it isn't about setting your thermostat. It's about removing it and replacing it with something completely different. And a lot of folks in our industry their thermostats are set by the coaching groups they're in, the other gym owners they surround themselves in, the conversations that they're having. And the unfortunate truth is the average revenue per month an average gym owner makes in the United States is $16,301 a month. And while that number to me seems very low, could it maybe pay the bills in some markets? I'm sure it could. I'm sure it could. But even at 20% profit margins on $16,000, this gym owner profit is even $39,000 a year. And it's like, well, that's not good enough.
No, hell no. Not to be a business owner, to take the risk, to have all of it on your shoulders. And then we mentioned it, or I mentioned it when we were doing our awards this weekend. What we provide should, we all deserve, everybody deserves more for the actual results and what we're actually creating for people, right? The change in their lives that they're walking away with. It's not just a workout. And unfortunately, the marketplace dictates that. And we, as the business side of it, we want to push that a little bit more, and deservingly so, right? That doesn't mean that we aren't going to increase the impact and the results for our client along with it. But first and foremost, to barely pay nowadays, a livable wage, to barely make a livable wage in America as a business owner.
Yeah. That's tough.
And it just shouldn't be that way. And it doesn't have to be. And I think that's the premise of what we're talking about. There are things that impact that number that aren't just how the structure of your business necessarily, or it all begins with your internal belief, and then the rest comes to follow, right? I'm glad you mentioned that, kind of, because it's not there's both aspects, right? James Clear said that you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. That's the stuff that follows that belief, right? Once you have that new thermostat in place and you've accelerated and raised your level of belief of what's possible, then you turn to the logics in the business and you say, okay, what is it going to take in order for me to get here?
Yep, and maintain and grow from that point. And that's the interesting thing, because we had a pretty big breakthrough right there in the middle of the ceremony of my presentation when I asked the Iron Circle, stand up if you have had your best month or best year in business since joining the Iron Circle Mastermind. And I want to say it was at least 80%, 90% of the
absolutely.
Everybody stood up basically in front of me, and then I looked around like, how many years have you been in business? Casey, 17 years. Scott, 14 years. This 10 years, 9 years, 7 years. So you're telling me in 10, 12, 17 years, you've been going down this path and you've been having highs and lows, and then you join the Iron Circle, change your thermostat, change what you believe you deserve, and you've had the best month or best years in business of all time. That's what I was talking about, and that was really the whole point. Was it's not that you're not doing good. You may be doing good with the people that you're hanging with. The people that the Iron Circle are hanging with are over here doing different things different ways.
Yeah, good versus great, right?
And it just accelerated growth across the board. And I don't take necessarily credit for any of it. I take credit for putting it together, but it's the surrounding environment that drives the growth. And it's the Roger Bannister effect.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like, oh, he can do it, I can do it. Or she can do it, I can do it. I think one of the best moments was having Jen from Iron Tribe up there on stage, young female doing 7 figures in a male-dominated industry, and she's out there kicking butt.
Yeah, crushing hard.
And I think it's just great to see that. And Karen was there, and she's, obviously female as well. And it's just like these female boss leader chicks in the industry that, I mean, the end of the day, it's like 90% male. It's just it is.
Yeah.
If you go to any fitness business seminar, you'll see 99 speakers that are male and 1 that's female. It's just this, it's dramatically. Mm-hmm. But having them win that award, I think, was hopefully will change the thermostat thoughts for many others in the room.
Well, and the awards across the board, I think, did that for the room as a whole, right? Those that weren't in the seats of the Iron Circle, when they saw the results of what the Iron Circle were capable of, and to the point you made, tying it to the years in business was also extremely important. Because if they've been in business for 3 years and then all of a sudden they've got a coaching program, like it would probably make sense that their business jumped, right?
Yeah.
Like if you didn't have the years and the reps and the highs and lows of a decade of business ownership, it might not mean as much. But to watch 90% of that group stand up, the entire room felt that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Everybody in there, it was an instant adjustment on their thermostats. And then the awards to follow: $50,000 month, $500,000 a year, $1 million years. If that is now what you believe is possible, you ain't doing 16301 anymore.
Right.
And if you are, then you got to turn and you got to look and you got to say, okay, is this a me problem? Right? Is it my internal thermostat that's not set there? Do I have the skill sets, maybe personally, to be that leader? Because that's another aspect that, much like the systems of the business, you have to be the type of individual capable of steering the ship there. But then the systems of the business and all of those, that's kind of the natural like downhill effect, right?
Yeah. But if your thermostat isn't set, and here's how you know your thermostat. If you ever say these words, your thermostat is set wrong. My clients won't do that. They won't pay that. We can't do that here.
Must be nice.
Must be nice. Oh, isn't he lucky? If you those are coming through your brain waves, then you've got your thermostat set too low.
And to be 100% fair, guys, like you are the product of the things that you've experienced. Your belief system is 100% in alignment with the people you're surrounded by, the input that you're taking in. Tim and I mentioned it. You're listening to this podcast. I hope that you have 5 other podcasts that are in alignment with the things that we talk about. Maybe their mindset, maybe their leadership, all of those other things. But I hope that you're driving the mental side of your belief further. It happens by the surroundings. It happens by the input. That used to go back to the 5 people you were surrounded with. Now I think it's even a little harder to determine that because it's the places you're being influenced from. If you're going home every day and you're flipping on Fox News and you're watching doom and gloom, you're going to be affected by the news. It will change the way you think, see things, your output potential, all of it will be affected by that. And if you're not protecting that, like you are your thermostat and belief in the business, you're gonna be susceptible to the decay that can come with a lot of that as well. But to put yourself in the room, surround yourself with others. Who somebody right off the bat said it, if you're the smartest person in the room, I think it was Trevor, you need to find another room to be in.
Right.
That room did that for a lot of people. The awards helped show others, they're not necessarily doing bad, but it just shows them how to go from good to great. It realigned their belief systems. Now they have a whole fresh way of looking at their business. They can go make the decisions, whether it's their leadership that needs to step up, the systems of their business that needs to step up, but there is a belief, the action can follow, and the result will be there as long as they continually, run the play.
And I know we did our job because that was my main goal, was changing the thermostat, not adjusting it. It's like, let's get rid of this one. Let's drop a new one in that's set higher. I've heard it from several people. I will be in the Iron Circle next year. I will be on that stage next year. I will do all these things next year, and I will hit these goals. Job done, because it was a mindset shift. And that was totally my
intention.
Goal. It was my intention. I said it in the very. That was it. My purpose today is to change the way you believe as to what's possible in your business, because they all came in with the set expectation of what they only know. This is all I know. I've listened to this guru and this guru and this, I'm basically here. But when they came out of that, they were all on fire.
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
were definitely ready for growth. And that was the whole point of this thing. So hopefully we wrapped it up with a nice bow, and everybody went home just ready for growth.
Well, even to speak to that, I mean, our staff or those that were in the room, like not even the hotel staff and those people. Like, I had so many conversations with people that weren't necessarily our gym owners that we were speaking to, that had internal changes to their belief in their business and what they're personally capable of and things like that. From our photographer team or the video teams and things like that to the support staff to literally the hotel staff. The people that they were speaking on stage and the things that happened in that room did that inevitably to anybody who was in that circle. That's
they sat and
Walls.
listened.
Yep.
And I heard several people say, I've been to conference after conference and I've never stayed for every speaker until today.
I mean, obviously we've been to a lot, a number of them over the years. We've hosted a number of them. The adoption in that room, there were more asses in seats the entire presentation than I've seen in any seminar. Yep. And again, I don't think we're saying that to boast. We're saying it because of the quality and the level of communication and value that was spoken from stage from the group that we did decide to put up there. I think every one of them brought exactly what they should have to the table, and they did it really well.
Yep, proud of all the speakers, even the newbies, even Teresa and Justin, who had not ever spoken on a stage like that. Most everybody else had at some level. They were pretty veteran speakers, but man, Justin and Teresa, they did so well, and they inspired more people. And so, look, there was some inspiration going on, but there's definitely tactical advice. And really the point of this show and this podcast right now is to change your belief of what's possible in your business. Because whatever you're set at, your thermostat's set at, it's going to sabotage you when you start to see success and you don't change it. Because then it'll just bring you right back to where it's comfortable. And being comfortable is the enemy of growth, because there's no pain. The pain's gone, and you start to take your foot off the gas. Very, very common with current clients in your gym. They come in high amounts of pain. They start to lose weight. They start to get out of pain, and they start to make excuses as today why they don't have to come in and work out. I could cheat on this one today. And then they fall right back to the setting of their thermostat. And I think that's really the best analogy, because we're all gym owners here. We train clients, and you see it happening in front of you real time. Well, it's happening to you in your business as well.
Absolutely.
And so you just got to be careful not to let that happen.
We've talked from minute one on this show about growth or decay.
Yeah.
Right. And it's inevitable. You are going to be moving left or right. There's no maintenance. There's no status quo. While it's in existence, it's not you're never going to be in that realm, right? You're not matching inflation. You're not able to kind of creep along at the same rate as a true maintenance would be, I guess. Mm-hmm. And the influence and the people you're surrounded by and the external circumstances of the business are going to dictate where that business goes if you're not intentionally setting that thermostat and pushing yourself forward. We talk about pain and pleasure. Mm-hmm. People, we gravitate away from pain, we move away from pain, and we move towards pleasure as humans, really. The pain in the business, sometimes going from good to great is difficult because the pain isn't there, right? If your bills are paid and you're taking a check home and your team's happy and it seems like everything is just, man, this is what it should be. That's a great place to be, but that's not what your potential is. That's not where you can drive that business. And so realign those pain and pleasure thoughts. Maybe it is about a different form of pleasure, not just taking care of yourself, but maybe you really, look at your business and say, hey, I want my fitness director to hit that new goal for them, their next level of success. Put that could be your driving force for pain. Or maybe you just continually remind yourself of what it was like in the suck. Because if you're not working towards progression, you're going to be slipping. And at some point, that pain comes back, and it comes back hard.
Yeah. Don't let being comfortable is a dangerous place. So just, listen, guys, that the point of the show is just to realize it. I think that's been achieved at this point. So hopefully that helps you guys. Go grab the Growth Summit recordings even if you were there. I mean, I'm sure I had a bunch of people ask, hey, can we get these? Yeah, you can. For a small price. For a small price. We had to pay Nick a lot of money for this. We gotta get that.
You'll be happy with the production value, paying what you pay, I promise.
Yeah, 10-4. So all right, so that's it for this episode. Hopefully that helps you. Keep going, changing lives. We'll see you on the next show. Bye.
All right, and thank you for listening to that episode of the Built to Grow podcast, where we help gym owners win. Now, do you want to connect with me and other gym owners online? All you need to do is join our private Facebook group, Business Talk with Fitness Professionals. Just head on over to Facebook and type in Business Talk with Fitness Professionals. And when you do, we're going to give you our 10 marketing strategies 7-figure gym owners use to win. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Until then, keep building something great.